Hey everyone, I'm here to talk to you about the 5 different sounds that you can play on your hi-hat. That's right, this one piece of drum equipment, this hi-hat right here, can actually produce 5 different sounds that you can incorporate into your next drum beat. Alright, let's dive right into it. So the first sound that I want to talk to you about involves pressing the hi-hat pedal to the ground so that the two cymbals are clamped tightly together and striking your drumstick along the outer part of the hi-hat. Now if you look at your hi-hat, you'll notice that there is an inner circle that is slightly raised, about an inch and a half from the center. It turns into a lower circle that's not raised, and it's much bigger. The lower circle, or the outer circle, is much bigger than the inner circle. So once your pedal has been pressed down and your two hi-hat cymbals are clamped together, you're going to use your stick and just strike the outer circle of the hi-hat. It's going to sound something like this. Now as you can hear, it produces a high-pitched, very short, very staccato sound. And that is ideal for pretty much any drum beat. Now you can use it for something like a drum beat that basically sounds like this, pretty much any drum beat. Now, the second hi-hat sound that I want to introduce you to involves keeping the pedal pressed down, so those two cymbals clamped tightly together, and striking your sticks along the inner circle of the hi-hat, so the one that is slightly raised. And it's going to sound something like this. As you can hear, it sounds extremely high-pitched and extremely short. It's extremely staccato. Now, you wouldn't go and use that hi-hat sound in the middle of any drum beat. You wouldn't go and use it often. It's something that you would just throw in your drum beat just to make it sound really cool. And you might even mix the two together. So, I mean, if you're just, rolling your sticks on the hi, you might be like... You might hit it back and forth, even incorporate some bass drum into it. To make a really cool drum sound. Alright, so also I just want to say about that inner circle hit that not many drummers will recognize that sound. Only advanced drummers will, because their ears will be more accustomed to hearing it. A beginner drummer might hear that sound and might think that sounds weird, but an advanced drummer will notice that it's sort of adding a little bit of spice to the beat. Alright, the third hi-hat sound that I want to talk to you about involves releasing the pedal and striking the hi-hat while the pedal is released and the two cymbals are apart. The two hi-hat cymbals are apart. It's going to sound something like this. Now, as you could hear, it's a very obnoxious sound. It sort of makes me cringe. And you wouldn't go and incorporate that into any drum beat. You really wouldn't even incorporate it into a drum beat. I mean, you don't want to play something that sounds like this. I know that sounds really bad, and that's why I'm telling you, don't incorporate this into a basic drum beat like that. Instead, you might want to incorporate it into a drum fill. So if you are rolling around the toms, you might want to throw that in there. So it would sound maybe something like this. Alright, the fourth hi-hat sound that I want to talk to you about involves pressing the pedal halfway down. So you just want those cymbals to just barely touch, not clamped all the way and not completely open. Just make them barely touch, and you're going to strike the hi-hat with the middle portion of the stick. So as you can see, I taped off the top and the bottom. You're going to try and strike it with the middle, okay? And it's going to sound something like this. And once again, since the sound is very long, you're not going to want to incorporate that sound into a fast drum beat. It'll sound something like this. It won't sound good. So it doesn't sound as bad as when the hi-hat was completely open, but it doesn't sound great. You're going to want to use it in slower drum beats. So drum beats that sound something like this. So once again, the fourth sound is halfway down on the pedal and striking it with the middle of the stick, try and use that on slow drum beats. The fifth and final hi-hat sound that I want to talk to you about today doesn't actually involve your hands at all. So I mean, you can take your sticks, put them on your floor tom, and show me your hands. And it involves stomping on the pedal. And it produces a really cool sound. It sounds something like this. And the amazing thing about this hi-hat sound is that you can incorporate it into any drum beat that involves your hands being on the right side of your drum set. And you can just stomp on the hi-hat. So I mean, you can incorporate it, let's say, into a drum beat that you're using the ride cymbal and the snare drum for. And it might sound something like this. And you can also incorporate it while you're playing on the toms. So you might do a drum roll in the middle of a drum beat, and you might stomp on the hi-hat a couple times for some added effect. And it would sound something like this. So as you can see, there are actually 5 distinctive sounds that you can produce with this single hi-hat. Alright, now this hi-hat incorporates 2 cymbals right here. So I think that's part of the reason that you can get so many sounds from it. Because you can have them clamped together, set apart, inner circle of the hi-hat, outer circle of the hi-hat, and stomping on it so you get the cymbals together. There are so many ways to incorporate these 5 sounds into your drum beats. But use them with taste. I mean, you don't want to go and try and use all 5 hi-hat cymbals in a single drum beat, because you will see your audience either clamping their ears shut, plugging their ears, or leaving the building. So use these 5 hi-hat sounds in your drum beats effectively and tastefully. And above all, have fun while you're drumming. I'd like to thank you for watching this video, and please be sure to comment on this video, rate it if you enjoyed watching it, or subscribe to my channel for more drumming videos. Thanks for watching.